Hey folks, the Omen trilogy. I picked these up on Blu-ray a couple of weeks ago. Got them on Amazon for, I think it was €25. I think it was. I paid for them for the three movies in the box set on Blu-ray, which isn't too bad. I just wanted to get these again because I really enjoyed these movies from many years. I haven't seen them in many years, and I wanted to see did they stand up the test of time. 1976, The Omen does stand up, believe me. This is a very, very good movie. As today's standards go, there's no real gore in this. It's not as frightening as it was probably back in the day, but it is a very well-made movie and a very, very good movie and a very good cast indeed, and directed, of course, by Richard Donner, who gave us Superman the movie after he made The Omen, and sadly he's no longer with us. He gave us the Lethal Weapon movies and the Goonies, of course. So yeah, Richard Donner directed this back in 1976, starring Gregory Peck as Robert Thorn, Lee Remick plays his wife, and young Harvey Stevens plays Damien the Antichrist. We have a great cast here of British actors, supporting cast here that are absolutely fantastic, really are. Billy Whitelaw here as Mrs. Baylock is a standout performance here. She really nails this. She is evil as feckin' hell here. She really is, and she would traumatise you with just a look, and she's fantastic here. She really plays it up here, and she's brilliant in it. Patrick Troughton, former I think Doctor Who plays Father Brennan here. He's very good in this as well. And we have, of course, we have David Warner, plays a photographer, a great character actor. I often see him show up in Star Trek movies and Star Trek TV shows. Great actor indeed. This is all about mood, and it's all about a great story. The story in this is absolutely fantastic. You know, however far-fetched it is, the story is really good and it really stands up, and the actors play their parts well here. The music by Jerry Goldsmith here is absolutely brilliant. It really is haunting, and it really sets the tone for the movie. If you don't know the plot of The Omen, if you haven't seen The Omen, it revolves around the second coming of, or the coming, sorry, not the second coming, the coming of the Antichrist, the devil's son, and he is born on the 6th of the 6th and the 6th hour. So the number 666 plays a lot in these movies. The movie is fantastic. It really is. It really plays. It plays really well. The script is great. The actors are great. The story is great. And as I said, the music is fantastic. And there's some great shock moments in this movie as well. As I said, by today's standards and blood and guts and gore and jump scares that we have in the modern horror movies, it wouldn't be like that. But it is a very good movie, and there's some standout sequences here. As I said, brilliantly directed by Richard Donner. That was 1976. And then after that, we had Damien, Omen 2, which was released in 1978, and this was directed by Don Taylor with an uncredited Mike Hodges directing and duties here. It stars William Holden, the great William Holden, great character actor, and Lee Remick. I think I read somewhere that William Holden was the original choice for Robert Thorn in The Omen, but turned the movie down, and then it was offered to Gregory Peck, thankfully, who did a great job in The Omen 1. But William Holden decided that he would do part 2 because the first film was so successful. I think he said, I'm not missing out on this pay packet because of the popularity of the first movie, which made a bagload of money. As I said, Lee Grant stars as his wife in this, and he's the brother of Robert Thorn, and now they're raising young Damien, who's now 12, I think he's 12 or 13 in this movie, played brilliantly here by Jonathan Scott Taylor. He really is, I think he's really perfect for the part here. He really is. And again, we have a great supporting cast here with many character actors. Robert Foxworth plays a character in this, and Nicholas Pryor, brilliant, and Lou Ayres, a great character actor from days gone by, and the wonderful Sylvia Sidney plays the grandmother in this, or the aunt, I think, in this. We might remember she was a great character actor back in the 40s and 50s, but she showed up in Beetlejuice here, if you remember her. She was the woman who smoked the cigarettes with the smoke coming out her neck. Very funny. Sylvia Sidney, great character actress. And a young Lance Hendrickson here plays a part in the Damien Omen 2. This movie isn't bad. I mean, it gets a bad rap as well. The sequels do get bad raps, but I enjoyed Damien Omen 2, and I forgot how much I enjoyed it when it came. I didn't see it when it came out. I was too young, but I got to it many years later, and I always enjoyed that movie simply because, again, the music is fantastic, and there's some great kills in this as well. There's a great scene in an elevator. I won't spoil it for you if you haven't seen it, involving a doctor in it. It is very, very good indeed, and there's another good scene with a person being attacked by crows. There in the original movie, there was dogs, the Hounds of Hell are in it, but in Damien Omen 2, they bring some crows into it. They're very, very creepy indeed. And the story here, as I said, revolves around Damien Thorn, or Robert Thorn's son, is now raising Damien, and with his own son Mark, and they go to military school, and there's various people watching out for Damien, and Damien learns his true nature, his true form, and his true calling in life, to be the Antichrist. It's not a bad movie. It's really enjoyable, and as I said, it's a good sequel to the original one, so do check it out. If you're going to buy the trilogy, you're going to check them out anyway, of course. And now we have Omen 3, which was back in the day called The Final Conflict, starring the wonderful Sam Neill, of course, Alan Grant from the Jurassic Park movies, and this was one of his first big breakout movies, Sam Neill, and he is fantastic in this movie. This was released in 1981, and on IMDb it gets the least rating of I think of all the Omen films. This was directed by Graham Baker, and of course Don Gordon and Lisa Harrow also star in this, and it really is. It's not a bad movie. I think the one thing I find about the Omen movies is that the timeline here is all wrong, and I think they retconned this in The Final Conflict, that the previous movies took place far earlier than the original 1976 Omen, because in the timeline we have 1976, he's 7 years old, 5 or 6, 7 years old, sorry, and in Omen 2 he's 12 or 13 years old, and in 1981 he's now a grown man, 33 years old, so that doesn't make any sense. So they did retcon that, telling us that the previous movies took place far earlier than 1981. The only thing I fault with the Omen 3 or The Final Conflict is that in the Omen 1, Robert Thorn was shown by Bugenhagen how to kill Damien with the daggers, these 7 daggers, and these show up in The Final Conflict, and they have to be done a certain way. The first dagger extinguishes life, and then eventually the daggers have to be inserted to resemble the sign of the cross. If you haven't seen The Final Conflict, spoilers here, stop listening now. But when Damien finally gets his comeuppance, it's just a simple stab with one of the daggers, and it all happens very, very quickly, and it's not really very dramatic, and it really is kind of a real letdown for the end of the film. The film revolves around Damien becoming for the ambassador to England, just like his father before him, and there's a great scene at the start of this movie involving the previous ambassador and how Damien gets rid of him out of that position so he can take it. It's a very, very good scene, very dramatic scene indeed at the start of the movie, and Damien then continues. It's about the second coming of our Lord to stand up to the Antichrist, and Damien tries to kill every firstborn child born during a certain time, a bit like the Old Testament in the Bible. That's quite interesting indeed, but a bit silly all in all. But as I said, the final conflict isn't really a big conflict at all. It involves Lisa Harrow's character, who has a romantic liaison with Damien Thorn in this movie, and it is, as I said, could have been done a lot better than that. It could have been more dramatic. I think maybe Some of this movie was on the cutting room floor, but that was a big letdown. All in all, I did enjoy the trilogy, and it does look fairly well on Blu-ray. There's some grain here and there, but it does look nice on the Blu-ray discs. I don't know if there's a 4K version of these movies out, but certainly the Blu-ray is an improvement on the previous DVD and VHS versions of them. So if you're going to check out the Omen, you can get these, as I said, for about €25 on Amazon. The trilogy is there. I didn't review Omen 4 because I feel that I don't think that is part of the original trilogy, although it does say that it's a continuation, but it got 3.5 on Amazon, and I really can't see myself bringing myself to watch that. I heard it's pretty bad. I did check out Omen 2006 just the other night as well, and this is really a pointless remake. This was directed by John Moore, an Irish director actually, and I really think it's a shot for shot, barring a few scenes. This is basically a shot for shot remake of the 1976 Omen, and it really is pointless. Some of the kills in it are far more gory than the original 1976 movie. Including the death of Father Brennan is done with a bit of CGI, which really doesn't do it for me, and there's no music. Jerry Goldsmith's music isn't in that scene as well, and it really lets that scene down, but it's a shot for shot remake, and it really is pointless, a bit like the Psycho remake with Vince Vaughn, kind of really pointless. I don't know why the studios do this. So if you haven't seen the Omen trilogy, do check them out. They're for a nostalgia look, but do check out the first one, 1976, directed by Richard Donner. That is the best of the trilogy, and that is really worth your time checking that out. And the other two aren't that bad, the final conflict being the weakest in the trilogy. So did you enjoy the Omen trilogy when they came out? If you've seen them when they came out in the cinema, or you checked them out later as they were released on VHS and Blu-ray, please comment below if you have, if you like them, if you don't like them. I'd love to hear your comments on those movies. So until the next video, please subscribe to the channel and slap a like on the video. I really would appreciate it. Until next time, take care, and we'll talk soon.